Warning, not safe for work. Friend did a line of asbestos. Was at a party and the house was about to be knocked over, so people started smashing up the garage, and one of my mates lined up some of the powder from the aftermath and ripped it for a laugh. Once the demo crew came in to knock the house down, it turned out the garage was mainly made from asbestos. How effed is my friend? Very, very effed. First and foremost, right out the gate, I don't even need to say this, but you'd have to be crazy to snort building material if you don't know what's inside of it, or even if you do know what's inside of it. And the fact that this is asbestos means that this guy is probably just set a time limit on his life for another 20 years. After that, he's probably going to die. Now, for those of you that don't know, asbestos is something that we started mining a lot in the 19th century, but it's been around for a while, and it's a naturally occurring fibrous mineral. Now, the issue with asbestos is when you rub against it or if it gets disturbed, these very small particles from the asbestos go up into the atmosphere, and the real risk is when you breathe that in. This creates really bad problems. Now, when we first really discovered asbestos, we realized it had really good thermal and electrical insulation properties. It was also really fire resistant, which made it a great building material to prevent building fires from passing from one building to the next. So, all the way up until around 1977, most houses are going to be built using some sort of asbestos-based drywall or other building material. Now, let's get into the portion of this. How screwed is this guy for taking a full line of asbestos? The answer is nobody really knows until about 20 years pass, but he's probably pretty screwed because there are a variety of lung conditions that arise from snorting or breathing in asbestos. Number one is asbestosis. This is directly related to asbestos. This is scarring of your lung tissue. Number two, though, I'm sure you guys have seen these ads, is mesothelioma.
Attention. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with mesothelioma, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Mesothelioma is a rare cancer linked to asbestos exposure.
This is a specific type of cancer that's oftentimes associated with chronic exposure to asbestos. These ads are very popular. You've seen it. If you have mesothelioma, you're entitled to financial compensation. On top of this, the asbestos that your friend breathed in is going to be in his lungs forever, even if he doesn't develop any symptoms from it. This is what it looks like when it's inside of your lung tissue. It's like a bunch of very tiny splinters, and it's stuck there permanently. And what happens over time is as you cough and become irritated to these little splinters, they're going to split up into even smaller ones, which eventually get down to a cell level, creating cancer. Nowadays, in countries that have the ability to use different material other than asbestos, it's not as common to find this in household objects or building materials. However, in developing countries, asbestos is still widely used. So what are the takeaways here? Number one, don't do lines of building material because you don't know what's in it, and even if there's no asbestos in it, there's still other harmful chemicals in there. And number two, if you work in an industry that involves construction or you have debris, it's always wise to wear a mask because you don't know if asbestos could be in those building materials. I hope that this was an educational video for you guys. Don't do lines of asbestos. Bad idea.